Департамент предпринимательства и инновационного развития города Москвы оказывает комплексную поддержку малому и среднему бизнесу в столице. В нее входят субсидии и гранты, акселерационные программы, а также образовательно-консультационная поддержка и ряд других проектов, направленных на развитие малого и среднего бизнеса столицы.
Мы специализируемся на выпуске изделий из огнеупорной керамики и фильтровальной керамики.
Skillfolio – единственная комплексная платформа, которая позволяет производить диагностику, индивидуальную траекторию развития и все это делать полностью в цифровом формате.
Мы широко используем меры поддержки, которые предлагает Департамент предпринимательства и инновационного развития города Москвы.
Вот настолько грамотно выстроенная программа в акселераторе нам удалось не просто развить свой бизнес. Мы за первый квартал сделали оборот больше, чем за весь предыдущий год. Я очень благодарна Департаменту предпринимательства и инновационного развития за то, что действительно осуществляется поддержка предпринимателей. Быть предпринимателем на самом деле тяжело. Это постоянный вызов каждый день.
Добрый вечер, уважаемые гости, кто смотрит нас онлайн и офлайн. Мы начинаем нашу секцию, которая посвящена...
So we're starting our session devoted to farming. So the title is Agriculture is Popular. So we hope that we'll look into agriculture from a different point of view and will see new technologies introduced into agriculture, that it has become a highly technologically advanced industry. So today we have very interesting speakers. Let me introduce them. Igor Abalkin, Technical Director of Ethnoprotec company. Yelena Baturova, Director of Financial Technology Department Center of Russian Agricultural Bank. Yelankin Nikolai, Miratorg. Roman Kulikov, Deputy Head of Skoltech Digital Agricultural Laboratory, Head of Selection 2.1, High School of Economic. Yulia Marcel, Co-founder, Director of Marketing of Greenwise. Hello. Nikitin Viktor, Director of City Pharma Company. Artyom Ponomarev, Co-founder, Chief Executive Officer of Greenwise. And Mikhail Sterkin, Director of Development and Marketing of Fosager. So I'm very glad to welcome you all here. We will stick to our schedule, so please, you have only 5-7 minutes, please be brief. And if we have a couple of minutes, we will have a general discussion. So the floor is given to Kulikov Roman, who will talk about the experience of Skoltech company and transfer, selection, and all these innovations. Thank you very much. So I have only 5 minutes. It's a real challenge. Will we have a presentation? So, colleagues, we can get involved in debates, but I think that today's Agra is really digital, is growing really digital. We have digital production, digital commodities, processing, pre-processing. So our agriculture is really digital and cross-industrial. There are no projects that deal only with dogs or plants. So I would be happy to see my presentation on the screen, but I can see that in our digital era we are prone to errors. So if we look into the current market, and the focus are investors. And there are a number of companies who monitor investment activity into agro. If you look at my first slide, you'll see
все. Коллеги, есть такой Agfinder, да, это известное международное агентство, которое мониторит, во что инвестирует
there is a very famous international agency, Agfinder, who makes forecasts of agro investments. So the most popular area is digital solutions, personalized delivery, processing. All this is related to digitalization.
Соответственно, вторая красивая известная картинка — это то, что население там динамически там растет, и растет дико естественно, на гектар площади.
The number of people is growing and the load is also growing. Load on a hectare. Today, we need to squeeze as much out of a hectare as possible and to feed more and more people. So we are getting very precise, and regenerative agro will be very precise. We'll take into account each drop of water, each square meter of land or soil.
Вот так же, как работа с соцсетями сейчас, вот если мы возьмем любой потребительский, финансовый, любой маркетинг, когда таргетируют аудиторию, собирают массу
инсайтов. We also have a targeted audience and we collect a lot of insight information. The same is true about agro. If we are involved in selection, we have to collect a lot of information, inside information about our animals or plants. Bayer's company, we have a joint transfer project with them. Could you show this slide? Thank you. So, the level of big data on plants has grown considerably. Just dozens of thousands of plants. And we collect the information data about each small movement. For example, the Bayer company collects data from dozens of regions from our planet, climate influence, fertilizers, soil, and so on. And this huge amount of big data means that they have a very efficient instrument, tool, that helps to select plants or animals that help to produce a new cross or a new crossbreed. So you analyze lots of factors, climatic factors, feeding, etc. Marker and genome technologies are very fashionable, but it's just a routine of world selection. Today, any big or medium-sized company in Russia as well make selection through marker technologies. The principle is very simple. You just find out an attribute and a gene that relates to this attribute. And so with genotype and select a new breed or crossbreed. So the same goes about cattle breeding or poultry breeding. Maybe 20-30 years ago, poultry was absolutely different from what we are eating today. And the time for breeding is shortening. Another important issue is alternative proteins, markets, protein, lipids, nutrients, fibers. All these words are quite popular, and lots of startups are growing. And the traditional protein is shrinking, access to is shrinking, so we need alternative protein. Moreover, I think you'll speak in detail how you improve the quality of protein. I am just mentioning it now. Another example is how these data work. So a country imported cows, accumulated database, made selection, and 10 years later they became animal cattle exporters. So it's all propped up by embryon technologies. In Russia, we have some very positive examples of embryon insertion or even cloning. Super unique dogs, very expensive, can be cloned, that can search for drugs and other banned substances. So we can clone them. There are 2 secret laboratories where produce animal clones. So for us, it's a routine to measure pressure or sugar through digital technologies. And some companies also manufacture house sequenator, and cell technologies are becoming more available. For example, stem cells and other technologies are being developed in cattle breeding. And if, for example, we also, for example, we want to select a special kind of ginseng plant, we can do it. We can select its alkaloids and reproduce in a different kind of plant. So chemistry, agriculture has come together, and we can make soil and leaf diagnostics. So digital agri is a very interesting area, and we can work very efficiently with it. We can enhance our crops, increase the volumes. And so the solutions are rising about 45% annual. So you can see on the slides how different systems are put together into a single system, which has a real future. What we are doing in Agra is feeding humanity. So personalized medicine is very popular, and personalized Agra is what we are doing now. It's digitalized Agra, enriched, our produce is enriched with vitamins and other good elements. For example, in Latin America, children are fed at schools with micro elements added into school food. So Agra and Pharma go together, they are friends, and today we can produce agricultures that are integrated with special types of protein. Sometimes, as for example, you eat a banana and it can, or potato, and it can be a vaccine at the same time. The problem is that it's very difficult to register. So Agra and food industry are the most important drivers of economic growth. And so we're following success and failure factors of innovations into Agra. So what are the factors of a successful Agra project? We need a good team, ideas, and the finances is not the most important factor. And there are also good opportunities for innovations, investments in Russia. I have such information, and I can show you documents. Of course, it's not easy. There is a little bit of red tape, but nevertheless, it's all in place in Russia. Thank you very much, Roman. So we are living in the future present. So these technologies seem to be science fiction. Now they are our reality, and we hope that these developments will continue. Now we are at the MGIMO University, and a year ago MGIMO introduced a special master degree program attaché in agriculture, and I'm sure that they will get acquainted with these new technologies, and they will have to promote them on the international market. So I'd like to give floor to our next speaker, Elena Baturova, and she'll talk about Rossельхозbank as a smart unit at a big market.
Thank you very much, Nadezhda. And to continue Roman's presentation, I would like to add some numbers. In Ancient Athens, in order to feed one person, it had to be 10 people to work in the village. So, judging the modern economy, so one agricultural person can provide 100-150 people. Is it a lot or not? But I think the progress we have achieved for these 1,000 years, I think it's not great progress. And the biggest part of this progress took in 18th century when agrarian revolution took part. And a couple of years ago, we heard that artificial intelligence substitute top managers, not only operators, and there is perspective digital technologies in agriculture as well. And what happened 3 years ago when the situation started to change? One of the biggest economies of the world reached its expenses up to 10%, and the health of nation, so it's important quality, not only quantity, for the health of population. And that's how the next trend happened. The request for the ecology and the technologies which were successfully implemented in other spheres, like big data spheres, it appeared that they could be very effective if apply them to the agriculture. And thanks to these three trends, the situation has changed significantly. And that's why we can see in the world huge demand in agriculture. But what about Russia? In Russia, so we implement quite effectively the new technologies. Roman already mentioned about it, but different situation in SME. Small and intermediate enterprises, they're not very acceptable for the new technologies. They don't try to use it in their everyday life. And I don't think it's correct. Business are managed by people. That's why business has the same demands like people have. So we cannot satisfy high-level demands if we don't satisfy low-level. So it means we need to understand all-level demands. That's why Rossельhozbank, the biggest bank of agricultural complex, and during 20 years of its development, it has to support and develop this sphere in our country. So bank believes he understands the demands and needs of its client, and we launched the digital ecosystem, and we try to provide maximum amount of digital services to our clients. We work with different startups, Russian startups, and we help them to launch their solutions and make available for every consumer. And platform is targeted to satisfy the farmer needs. First, supply. And today, launch of our new application, the name of it Своё Родное, it helps every farmer to be registered in our platform, to make internet shop, to launch catalog, to connect delivery service, and to deliver to any consumer in our country. We know that it's important to support standard, and we know that it's important that shops cannot put big assortment on their shelves. That's why we need to help every farmer in our country. We need to connect every farmer with his client. So for this, it's needed qualified personnel, technical personnel, and in our ecosystem, we try to build the largest database of vacancies, resumes, CV. We want that every student who's graduating from the agricultural university, that student could have the opportunity to launch its resume, and the company who is interested in such specialist would have opportunity to find the specialist in our platform. What else? Every farmer in our country don't know where to find seeds, fertilizers, plants, so we need place to find this. For this, we built the largest marketplace to arrange foreign goods, local goods. Also, we want that any development in our country should be available of final consumer. And we want that every farmer in our country could find this product in our platform. Every farmer which is represented in our platform is reliable partner which is checked by our bank. We think it's correct way of development, and we plan to achieve our target to help every farmer in our country to find its final client and to provide products for the clients. And let me show my video clip. Thank you, Nadezhda, and I'm ready to give floor. Elena, thank you very much. So Elena is running for the airplane. Thank you very much, Elena, for your presentation. We continue our discussion. And now we will discuss very interesting and unique experience. So I would like to ask Ilatka Nikolai Pavlovich, company Miratorg, manager of genetic department. This is the first systematic project to decode genome of animals, identification of indexes, and I would like to ask Nikolai what he have done and what he have achieved. Thank you. So I know about challenge on our time. So let's start. Miratorg, this is the largest agro company in Russia and is leaders of the industry. Of course, we have very ambitious tasks, including agricultural science and genetics. That's why we created a project on genome selection on the base of our own laboratory. And 1.5 years of work, the laboratory has created the biggest database of genotypes in the Russian Federation. So genotypes of data of agricultural animals, and this is the most powerful genome laboratory in Russia. Genome selection, as far as you know, it's not know-how, but at the moment it's the advanced method to work with genetics. And this is a tool which helps agriculture to control and to improve potential. And at the moment, it's a unique situation when agri-holding, when business and for profit, for business, it's very important capacity for server calculations. So capacity for server is more important than the engine of tractors on the field. Another word. So we provide a unique tool for our zootechnologists and genetics. And they know how many animals were born in every field. They know how many bulls, how many cows, how many genes, monogenes, how many disease in genes, in, for example, 800 hertz. And also, even the data, if it was lost, it can be restored with all the information like vaccination, treatment, and all other accumulated data. So genetic herd, it's a live organism. And it's just the target of this project to attract additional margin, to attract additional profit for the farmer, because we knew cattle breeding in Russia, it's low-margin business, and our main target, due to implementation of selection, our task to decrease the terms of returns of this project, and it helps to attract new investments in the cattle breeding sphere, and it helps to create new working places. And also our project, based not only on genome selection, always it gave impulse for different directions, including results and projects like embryo production. At the moment, it's quite a routine because we can have 45,000 embryos per year. and 25,000 of them in vitro technologies. And due to genetics development, we can develop new branch for new startups, for new scientists, for new researchers and entrepreneurs. So due to the potential of genetic improvement of animal, they can create additional demand for the embryo technologies and for work with genetics. Miratorg was first in this year who launched selected seeds, and today at the moment there are only 2 companies in the world. One company can divide on both genders, and this is the greatest challenge for our scientists who created to implement the analogies of technologies. So let's speak about cattle breeding, and it's quite difficult for us to compete with the foreign companies, but even to work with one economy, with genetics, with genome selection, genetic indexes, helps to optimize expenses, and it helps to improve control of genetic potential of your herd. So, and sheep breeding, our project sheep breeding, and it's a very important project because this sheep breeding project helps to improve it at the new level. And what is very important here, the genome selections, what we face here. We face unique challenges, unique tasks, which had never been solved anywhere in the world. Now we communicate with Skoltech. Now we are looking for these scientific partners who help us to solve these tasks. And we expect huge effects in this industry, which contribute in the new modality in the sheep breeding. So, because I am short of time, I would like to conclude in communicating with the new innovative companies like Atlas, OncoGeneTest. It makes us to think and to open new horizons in genetics, of human genetics. So search for the new methods, and we see great potential for development of our project and in other industries, as well as the services for human genetics, search tasks, fundamental scientific genetic applications of our project and our laboratory. I hope I was in time. Thank you very much. So, as far as I understood, these technologies are at the edge of the science. So, all the industrial animals is like biofabrics. All the data has assessed, evaluated in terms of effectiveness, how much food should be given, how much vaccination. So, as you can see, it works on different groups of animals, and then this data can be implemented, can be extrapolated for the human. Thank you very much again for your presentation. And now I would like to speak, because we already spoken about genetics, animals, financial services. We have spoken about the products and final consumer. But now I'd like to invite Mikhail Vladimirovich Styrkin, Marketing Director, company Fosarka, the largest producer of fertilizer. And I would like you to tell about your experience, innovations in your company.
Good afternoon. I'd like to say that agriculture cannot be fashionable or not, because its objective is a strategic one, just to provide with food and strategic food reserve. We are facing enormous challenges in the 21st century, and a shortage of agricultural produce is growing. So how can we reduce or cope with the shortage? For example, in the developing countries, the shortage of food is estimated at $270 million. The situation was aggravated by the pandemic. So our company is focused on the food security, and we are interested in digitalization, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, sustainable growth and development, and training and education. I think that training and education is one of the most important aspects of our achievements. So what we are doing, we have opened a new platform where we sell fertilizers. It can become a marketplace. Yelena talked about things like that. We have a sufficient number of clients, and we know what our clients need. So we cooperate with the Merator company, with other companies, and then we use our agri calculator. Our client can calculate what amounts, volumes of fertilizers they need and how they can be used, and what is the financial cost. So our fertilizers are most environmentally friendly because they have a low content of cadmium. We are entering the Green Club, and we are going to register our green brand. That means that the product is environmentally friendly, and it will help to achieve the objectives of the food security of the country set by our president and by our government. Another important issue is cooperation with researchers. In 2018, we were the first to sign a contract with the Academy of Sciences. And since then, we have about 20 counter-agents with whom we cooperate. The amount of contracts reaches 50 million rubles, and it's not a limit. We are searching startups with whom we're going to develop new technologies. Another good example is for example, our cooperation with Atasol company. We are developing a biological product, Bactorin. We also implement a program on 3 food additives with this company. Another company, Fosagra, where we test our own produce and products at the proving grounds. And we share the information about our research. We write articles. When we test new projects at our proving grounds, we describe the results in the research article. So we share the information. It's very important. So, and the final point, agriculture cannot develop without training and education. Students for example, are taught at a material of 30 years old. And we decided to set up an innovational university on the basis of the Timiryazov Academy. So you have only 2 minutes left. And want to open an innovational university and to teach students and teachers as well, and to share innovational technologies and knowledge about them with all interested parties. We're going to deliver lectures for the students, and many representatives of well-known companies are very interested in this idea, delivering lectures to students. So I think that this direction of development will proves that agriculture is quite popular. Yes, we can see that there is a common trend that we need to train specialists. As we've just said, we've launched an agriculture master degree program, and it's a must. What you are doing, your company Fosagra, in school education is also a huge effort, and we would like to thank you, and we think that it will help to make our agriculture more fashionable or more popular. Now I'd like to give floor to representatives of the innovational projects. We had systemic flagmans, leaders or monsters, and now we would give floor to innovational companies. Greenwise, Artyom Ponomarev and Marcel Yulia. You are going to talk about your innovational activities in agriculture. Thank you very much. Over the last 1 year and a half, we have become a sort of a monster as well, because we've become more well-known. So I'm a Director General, Chief Executive Officer, and Yulia Marcel is a founder and a Marketing Director. So what are we involved in? We are a representative of a Russian food technological company. It's not only about personalized food and deliveries, just about innovational solutions, about digitalization and functional and interesting products, just what people eat. So we're developing new technologies, new products, and we upgrade the quality of products and develop new tastes. So Yulia will talk about products or foodstuffs. So we started producing an alternative to meat. And so in a couple of years, we've grown into a food tech company. We're developing new technologies. So now we are B2B. We supply meat producers with the ingredients, also work with 3D technologies and 3D printing. We're a startup producing a plant alternative to meat, producing high-protein products similar to meat, which have similar taste, structure, texture, and value. And you have a feeling that you eat traditional meat. So now we have our products in 1,600 food stores across the whole Russia, as well as in Ukraine, Kazakhstan. Now we're signing a contract with Germany and Czech Republic. And we hope that soon we'll enter the US market, as we are signing a contract to develop products on the basis of our ingredients. So we've managed to do it in a year, over the last year. So people get used to eating meat, at the same time they don't want to do harm to their own health and environment, and they don't want to eat animal meat. Moreover, there is a dramatic increase in the demand for meat, and it will be very difficult to feed the humanity, the population on the earth, because there is a sharp shortage of food. So that's why we are developing these areas. We also produce snacks, frozen products, some niche products, jerky strips, fillet, minced meat, as impossible food. Also, we are on the ingredients markets. We enable other producers use our ingredients and produce their own products or foodstuffs. So we popularize the category, make it more available and affordable, and we help to develop a market, because our market of alternative foodstuffs is not as developed as in Europe or in the United States. Because in Western countries, the food stores have special shelves offering products of healthy foods. And now we are just only starting to develop such an alternative. Also, we are involved in technologies. We offer our functional products and technological solutions to process raw materials on the basis of plants and cells. We are a developer of cell meat. So our raw materials are used to grow cells. It's sort of a scaffold. Then we also offer or provide with nutritive environments that allows to grow balanced macro elements complexes. And all this is produced through small-scale equipment.
So we would like to inspire young entrepreneurs. We would like to persuade them that agricultural business is fashion. So, and it's digitalization, supply, everything is possible here. So, and we would like to show, using our own experience, we would like to show you the importance and the future and potential of this sphere, and we would like to provide expertise, to share our expertise, our industrial capacities. And we are in the territory of Russia, in the leading enterprise, which specializes on the deep processing of the plant materials. So we have access to research and development. We are ready to share our experience in this field. And by the end of the year, we plan to open startup incubator for the alternative products, so alternative to milk, meat, and we would like to attract young specialists in the innovative sphere. And we are looking for new talents, young people who want develop in this field. And given that today, so no one prepares specialists on the alternative products, food products. And also now we register Association of the Alternative Food Production. So we will try to unite food product producers and its innovations. So we would like to underline several theses. So, like foundation for business. So to find your niche, Russian markets of alternatives not very developed, but we are in ingredients. We can see how this market is being developed in Russia, in Europe, in the USA, and we see how trends comes from one continent to another. That's why we can forecast and we can make certain focus on what will be developed successfully. So to use networking, because in Russia it's not very well developed, but its future, it's one of the most potential tools to test your hypothesis, your pilot project. And don't be scared to make mistake, because there are not that many specialists in this field. So many specialists in this field try to do something with not having an experience yet. Thank you very much, colleagues. Very inspiring, very interesting. So, and it's not only impossible food, it's Russian startups. Thank you very much that you told about yourself. What's your future plans? What are you going to do? What's your next niche? Meat, fish, and we have development on the plant. Tuna fish, preservatives, milk products. We have some developments already, but of course we can't move to all niches simultaneously. Of course we need to start with something. So we already started with meat, the next will be fish, then milk, so and then so on. Any products, it can be a healthy breakfast, like including milk, cheese, to alternative milk and cheese. So when we understand this like transition between the products, food products, from meat to alternatives, and now we work on hybrid products, on the plant cells, and it will be one of our priorities for the nearest years. So we go to the ferments and for the printer. Thank you very much, colleagues. It's so much interesting, and probably if I have some times at the end, we will discuss, we will ask questions. Our next speaker, Igor Nikolaevich Habalkin, Technical Director of the company Ignoprotec. Please tell us what you've managed to achieve in your business. Thank you very much. And about the project, it's new, not new in the modern world, so take care of the environment. It's very important and very topical. Product waste, organic wastes, so which cannot be processed. So biggest part of them are polygons, they decay and has which with the gases they can be harmful for animals and people. So food waste. So on all the stages from the production up to the food consumer. So it's about 7 million tons in Russia annually. 7 million tons annually in Russia. So as far as for the existing technologies, so they have some disadvantages, like low effectiveness, high cost, economy, technologies, and as well damages which the utilization of these technologies can cause to the nature and environment. And here we have, and we see the solution using nature, by the way, so to utilize product waste with the insects. So, like for example, the tropical fly. And one of the biggest advantage, this insect can be cultivated in the artificial climate. So when this insect is adult, it becomes a fly. So it doesn't bite, it doesn't transmit any infectious or diseases. So the technological process, I would like to show you a short video. So, being short about the products which we produce during this utilization, first product is a whole dry insects, so pet food. So the main segment, decorative birds, exotic insects, so flagman product, protein food supplement, so like analog of traditional meat, protein, fat, has big amount of laurine acid, and it can be used in feeding agriculture animals, and it's very popular. On the cosmetics producer, Hetin melanin complex. So it's the stage of research and development. And depending on the level of the clearance and the compost to natural organic fertilizer has proton nematode effect and can be applied in all the types of agricultural cultures and to clean soils. So companies founded in 2019 and company Interprotec founded in 2015 and having a laboratory of 15 square meters. Now we have capacities, industrial ground, produce tons of feeding production. So the main achievements, big scale activity to collect statistics, to study wastes, to develop optimal recipes, patents, including international one, expertise, a lot of applications for development, and the technological solution is protected by know-how. I would like to underline it was difficult for this new project, the lack of low database, but we managed to come through the ecological expertise, legal expertise, and as well registry this stern feed. So it was produced about 4,000 tons of stern, and we managed to escape emission more than 140,000 cubes of greenhouse gases, which is good for the environment. So to sum it up, agricultural business is fashionable. So where you sell these sterns? Where? What's your market? So soon we've got the certificate, the state certificate of the stern. We start to work with the large agricultural holdings, and the main segment is agriculture and components for the agricultural sterns. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Our final speaker. This is project on the closed city farms. Viktor Vasilievich Nikitin. Thank you very much. So, judging by empty chairs and a lot of people near Abreu Dirso, I don't think we're very fashionable as an agricultural business. And for you, I would like to offer you a small video. So, my presentation, please. 1 minute video which can show you what we do. Model city farms, smart city farms. So in our mushroom farm, which is on our ground retail product chain, it's our green farm and dry bulk. 30 types of greenery are being produced there. This is shiitake. So almost no one produces in Russia shiitake. And we produce 5 types of cultivated mushrooms: shiitake, ринги. Here I can come back to my presentation. So when my adult daughters would like to make fun of me, they say, so father, our father was before the director of Microsoft, was a dean of High School of Economy, he was director of Rostelecom, but now he produces greenery and mushrooms. But my response to them, no daughters, your father not only produced greenery or mushrooms, your father have built a system because I came from IT business. That's why for me SaaS, IaaS, services, infrastructure. And when I appeared in this agriculture field, I just looked at it and thought, why farming can be as a service in itself, and that's how I come up to this idea to build model city farms, to introduce a system of model management, to provide all spare parts, to solve utilization wastes problem, and to make a financial and accounting system, so this whole life cycle of farming. So here you can see our diploma. We're residents of Skolkovo, so nominants of award Breakthrough 2020. So Nadezhda, could you please help me? What can you see? Temperature outside. Temperature 34.7. This is site of mushroom, and it's not in Moscow. It's in the south, when it's temperature of air 34. Temperature of inside of the block 14.8. Here it's 13. hit how many minutes ago? 2 minutes ago. So this is data just 2 minutes ago. It means in real regime you can see the conditions of the farm. So it's like artificial intelligence to control farm and to see all the parameters and supervise it, because it's high-tech technological processes here. And this initial systematical control, we use artificial intelligence who control all parameters, who control all sensors and detectors. And if there is margin of these regimes, it can be detected. So on this slide, you can see mushroom data and turnover and profit and returns. So like green mushroom, green salad farm with salad, its return 2.5 years. Rucola, it's 1.5 years. So in terms of economy, in terms of money return, these are parameters. So many can tell it will be a lot of expenses on electricity and water. No, it's not like that. Expenses on electricity, water takes no more than 10%. So this slide requirements for the ground and call to action for youth, for young entrepreneurs. This is case. This case is about that agribusiness is a center of all innovation, artificial intelligence, biotechnologies, Internet of Things. Everything is connected in one place and gives absolutely new quality. That's all. That's my presentation. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Could you please tell us how to assess the perspective of development? Which type of products will you grow in this type of farms, in these cities? For example, we see some examples in Brazil, in Asian countries, in Singapore. What's going on in our place? In our countries, the following things. If we look at the map of distribution of traditional green complexes, which costs tens of millions of dollars, which should be constructed several years and returns of many years, and it will be Ural, South Siberia, News, and nothing else. It means that greenhouses, traditional ones, it means green resupply, it's deficit. So, and healthy style is about greenery, fresh products. It's trend. This is trend. We all know this, and probably this coronavirus will promote this trend even more of healthy style life. So these city farms can be supplied in any point of city, any business which doesn't depend on climate. So we can arrange it in the south, we can arrange it in the desert. So we only need the plain ground, water and electricity. That's all. Thank you very much. It means in the south we soon will have greenery. I wish you good luck for your projects, and I think probably the colleagues will be interested in it for cooperation. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presentations. We have a couple of minutes, 5-10 minutes, and I would like to ask.
I'd like to ask you about barriers or impediments that hamper the development of your business. What can be done to help to remove these barriers? So just let's talk in a round. Let's start with you as the last speaker. So the request to the government, do not hamper. Please, if you can't help, just don't hamper. I'd like to put into doubt this thesis, Roman's thesis, you don't need money. Of course we need funds and we need money. The more money, the better. And unfortunately, now we have passed through a stage of a start-up. So now the hype is mobility, IT, medicine. There are very few business angels in Russia, in agro, so we need funding in order to pass through the valley of death. If you pass through this valley, then you will be supported by funds. Unfortunately, we do not have sufficient business angels. Please invest into agriculture, because in the West, this wave is developing very successfully. Yes, that's true. The quanta is $19 billion of private investments in 2020. Roman? I just look from a different angle. In Russia, there is only 1% of people who work in agro who are ready to advise their children to continue their careers in agro. So what we need is young people. And we need to create motivations, ideology for them. They must want to learn. And the second problem is also people. And the third problem is a human factor. So when we build this chains, inputs, fertilizers, genetics, greenery, etc., whatever. And the third, logistics. So each stage needs a huge number of people, and we have a real shortage of skilled personnel. So what we need, you see, there was a wave of IT specialists, IT education programs. Now we need the same thing in agriculture. As far as you have said what you've said about genome, I'll agree with Roman. But Russia, unfortunately, in the plant and cattle breeding, there is no personnel who is ready to adopt this technology, to use it in the right way, and to bring positive, to produce positive results. So what we need is the centralized, maybe government consortia that would promote these ideas and implement into practice. The industry would realize how to use these technologies, what would be the advantage, etc. Thank you. So all limits and restrictions are inside the company. What we need to change is the mindset. We need a different mindset in the people, and our company has moved from the food stuff producing company to the service company. And when we leave behind the stage of development, then we'll see new horizons. And of course, we need a complex attitude, approach. For example, I talked about our partners, so we have 12 partners, equipment, agricultural equipment, seeds, etc. And the end of the chain is a producer who is interested only in the economy. So the market will rule. Yes, there are problems with investments, a shortage of investment. For example, the production of alternative milk in Europe, they use investments. The same, I agree about what you've said about personnel. But at present, agricultural business is not fashionable. And young people go to IT programs, and agriculture is something that is outdated and obsolete. And I think that the problem is with the legal framework regulations. And we've been faced with such problems. Unfortunately, our legislation is lagging behind. Now, a good moment has come, and if we want to have an advanced development, I mean, for example, the development of cells, etc., 5–10 years pass, and we will see that again, the same problem, the laws are antiquated. Yes, this is an urgent problem, regulatory problem. We've registered our products, foodstuffs that were recognized as meat preserves. As far as investments and personnel are concerned, yes, it's a different story. It's difficult. Yes, it's a big problem. In Russia, investors are used in our economic situation. They understand very well our problems, but they do not understand the potential of our industry, while in Europe or in other countries understand very well what are our ideas, what areas of production when we talk about them. I'd like to say that there are a few barriers. You know, a lot of foodstuffs are just thrown away. But I'll agree with the colleagues that the most important hurdle is personnel. Skilled specialists is the main barrier. And the second, and in our case, it is what to do with waste. It's a little bit of a shadowy gray area, a little bit. And small companies just look for loopholes, bypasses of getting rid of these wastes. Thank you very much. Now, so we've identified two structural problems: finances, despite the existence of venture funds and government support for funds. Tools, they are not sufficient. And another problem is skilled specialists, and there is a bottleneck in education because our colleges and universities do not train such specialists, and I hope that the structure of agricultural education will change and approaches will change. For example, we implemented a project together with the Voronezh University. We just analyzed how many specialists are trained in the United States. So here we educate twice as many specialists and they 250 different specializations compared to us. And I think this is a way of developing our industry. And we have also our audience, online audience, and we have shown to them that we also have many innovative technologies in Russia. No matter whether it's a big company, a corporation, or a small company, you will feel interested. I hope you'll feel interested in developing your business. So I wish you a good weekend and fruitful work.